very rainy morning, but you're welcome to News Morning here on TV3. I am Enyunam Haliga coming up this morning. Undocumented African migrants in South Africa race against June 30 ultimatum. Also in this bulletin, government conducts nationwide census of commercial and domestic animals. And much later, Geological Survey Authority warns Ghana face risking mudslide and rockfalls risk amid the prolonged rainfall across vulnerable communities. We go on to a first story now, where lawyers for the former Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabena Adwoa-Safo have petitioned the Attorney General to review the criminal charges and case arising from the alleged shooting incident involving her and transferred from the Circuit Court to the High Court. The petition, dated June 25, 2026, argues that the Adenta Circuit Court lacks jurisdiction to try the offences for which the accused persons have been charged, insisting that the matter ought to be prosecuted before the High Court. The petition, signed by Gary Nimako, who is a lawyer for the former Member of Parliament, also notes that the offence of intentionality and unlawfully causing harm with the use of an offensive weapon is a first-degree felony triable on indictment before the High Court and not the Circuit Court. 9 persons, including Kwejo Safo, who is the brother of Adwoa-Safo, have been granted bail after they were charged with discharging a firearm at the Dom Kwabena Member of Parliament during a ceremony at Kwabena, leaving the legislator injured. Moving on, African migrants in South Africa are counting down to June 30 deadline by anti-immigrant groups in South Africa for all undocumented migrants to leave the country. Several cities are bracing for unrest, even as the government has pleaded with citizens not to take immigration enforcement into their own hands. March and March, the main organization behind the protest, have said that it is not calling for violence. Police have promised a massive deployment to ensure stability. President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday quoted, "Our security forces are ready." Countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and Malawi have been evacuating their citizens. Xenophobic violence is a recurring issue in South Africa, where some blame migrants, mostly from other African countries, for everything from crime and unemployment to crowded public health facilities. South Africa remains deeply unequal, and economic growth have been sluggish for years. South Africa has become the largest economy in Ghana and draws job seekers from neighboring countries. Now, still on South Africa, Philip Soa, a Ghanaian in South Africa, said they did not think the police will protect them. Let's take a listen.
It's a dicey situation, I don't think there's enough forces to be able to contain what is about to happen. I think it's best for everybody to just stay safe and be indoors. And, unfortunately, we have an unfortunate situation where Ghanaians are stranded in Pretoria at the moment. Some of them are sleeping in churches in Pentecost, and things like that, because they're coming from far and they want to come back home. But at the moment, it's a situation where we all need to be able to help each other and stay safe. South Africans don't know what after the 30th is going to be like. We are all just holding on, and we want to see what is going to be happening, because as a matter of fact, they are trying to steer the fear that that illegal immigrants need to vacate the place. It's you don't know what you will meet on the street. When you go out of your house and you hit the streets, you don't know if it's safe anymore. You don't know. It's just unpredictable. It's not going well at all at the moment. People are scared, and some are also running their daily lives as if nothing is happening, and those are the ones that are at high risk at the moment, because guys have to eat, they have to survive.
Now, away from South Africa, back home, government is set to conduct a nationwide census on all commercial and domestic animals as part of efforts to improve livestock management, disease surveillance, and prevention. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says the exercise will provide accurate data on the country's livestock population and support early detection of animal diseases.
The movement of livestock across borders in the sub-region, especially through pastoral routes and regional trade networks, comes with several risks. This includes the spread of diseases among animals and humans when infected animals are slaughtered, handled, or consumed. Growth trend data from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture show that as of 2024, Ghana had about 2.41 million cattle, 6.29 million sheep, 9.52 million goats, 1.11 million pigs, and 90.8 million poultry. The increasing movement of livestock across borders has heightened the need for an updated census of animals in the country, with animal scientists warning that unchecked movement could contribute to the spread of diseases. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says all livestock in the country will be tagged to allow for easy identification, ownership tracking, and jurisdiction as part of measures to protect public health.
Register identification tax. Sadia Baya Nanpian Nama, and Sadia car namno. The Onimun number na, Obehu region of Frimu, Obehu district of Frimu, Obehu Buokro on a cra, the Nanpiere, and no. I must obey the Nanpifu for be free baby ba, Ebedi Bonia. Yahoo baby and Pier day if you buy. Say we are when you know we come near your identification no come Emma and one in tax ni we are. Then Pia Behunua only Sata Gnibiano. Now when you're Ghana and Pia, Obina never do has a new court in fire. Yabama veterinary for quine, no much resign and Piano. Now yet Nako baby ourselves or see a unified system anymore. Nay, a
To help prevent and contain zoonotic diseases, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, is supporting veterinary officers with logistics and equipment under the Pandemic Fund. The support includes 20 pickup vehicles, 261 motorcycles, 115 laptops, 110 tablets, 90 desktop computers, and laboratory consumables for rapid disease tracking. Priya Gujado is the FAO interim country representative in Ghana.
Together, these investments are helping Ghana build stronger systems to prevent, to detect, and to respond to animal and zoonotic disease threats before they escalate into public health emergencies. This is also what we call the One Health approach. The Pandemic Fund, which is hosted by the World Bank, is dedicated to strengthening pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response in low and middle income countries. And Ghana is one of the beneficiaries with a grant of just over $16 million through this program.
With livestock numbers continuing to rise and cross-border movement becoming increasingly common, authorities say a comprehensive animal census and identification system is critical. The initiative, backed by improved surveillance capacity and logistics from the FAO, is expected to strengthen Ghana's ability to detect, track, and respond to animal diseases before they threaten livestock production and public health. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, away from that, Member of Parliament for Krowa and Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namumulati, is encouraging men to pay attention to their health amid the many pressures exerted on them as heads of families. She bemoaned how some men pursue everyday life without taking into consideration their health status at all times. The Member of Parliament has instituted an initiative that will cater for the health needs of men in the Krowa constituency, whilst also championing healthy living.
In many of our homes and communities, men are known to be strong, hardworking, and dependable. You provide for families, support your children, care for your spouses, and contribute to the development of our nation. However, many men often neglect their own health. Some only seek medical attention when a condition has become serious. Today, I want to encourage every man here. Your health matters, and your life is very important to us as a nation. Being strong does not mean ignoring pain. Being responsible also means taking care of yourself so that you can continue to care for those who depend on you. High blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and prostate-related conditions are becoming increasingly common among men. The good news is that many of these conditions can be detected early and managed successfully through regular screening and healthy lifestyle choices. I therefore urge all men present here today not to only take advantage of these screenings, but also to become ambassadors for healthy living.
Now, Ghana is still in the rainy season, and while flooding has affected several communities in Accra and other parts of the country, another potential danger lurks. The Ghana Geological Survey Authority is warning that prolonged rainfall can risk the increase of mudslides and rockfalls, particularly in seismic and hilly areas. Nura Mohammed has more in this report.
When heavy rains fall, flooding is usually the first danger people think about. But for geologists, the concern goes much deeper. The same rains that cause floods can also saturate hillsides, weakening the ground and increasing the risk of mudslides and rockfalls. Unlike floods, however, these disasters can occur suddenly, often with little or no warning. While rainfall does not trigger earthquakes, Ghana remains one of the few countries in West Africa with active seismic zones, making the work of the Ghana Geological Survey Authority critical to public safety. Ghana has experienced earth tremors for centuries. The deadliest on record was the 1939 Accra earthquake, which claimed 17 lives, injured 133 people, and destroyed hundreds of buildings. Areas considered most vulnerable include Accra, Tema, Waja, the Akuapem Ridge, and surrounding communities, where active fault lines lie beneath the surface. Nicholas Opoku is the head of the Seismology Division and principal seismologist at the Ghana Geological Survey Authority.
Landslide have not been part of Ghana's mainstream disaster issues in the past. But recently, it's rearing its ugly head because we are now developing in unsafe grounds. Meanwhile, our land use planning makes it clear that areas prone to landslides should not be developed. Mountainous areas or unstable slopes are not areas that we should be allowed to develop.
Beyond monitoring earthquakes, the authority has upgraded its seismic monitoring network to improve the early detection and tracking of seismic activity across the country.
Ghana has upgraded its national seismic network. Yes, we used to have 21 seismic stations dotted around the southern part of Ghana. But unfortunately, so the digital network were installed in 2012, and somewhere 2024 the network almost broke down completely. And so whenever there's an earth tremor or an earthquake, we find it difficult to give the necessary information about that tremor or that earthquake.
As the rains continue, the Geological Survey Authority is urging the public to avoid building or living on unstable slopes, remain alert to signs of ground movement, and report any unusual earth activity. While earthquakes cannot be prevented, experts say preparedness and responsible land use can significantly reduce the risk to lives and property. Noura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
We're taking you up north now, where the Upper East Regional Command of the Narcotics Control Commission has called for public support in the fight against the surge in drug abuse in the region. During an anti-drug awareness campaign, the command said joint effort would ensure a safer community. Castro Senyala has more in this report.
The Upper East region is one of Ghana's regions with porous frontiers and numerous unapproved crossing routes. These unapproved routes continue to facilitate the smuggling of illicit drugs into the country. In 2025, the Narcotics Control Commission recorded 217 arrests, 165 prosecutions, seized more than 25.3 million tramadol tablets, and by April 2026 had intercepted an additional 20.1 million tablets. To curb the menace, the Commission, in collaboration with other state security agencies, organized an anti-drug awareness campaign through the principal streets of Bolgatanga. Senior Narcotics Control Officer Abdul Aziz Sahid is the Upper East Regional Commander of the Narcotics Control Commission.
We are here, the Narcotics Control Commission, Upper East Regional Command, in collaboration with the other security agencies and the schools. We are ready to work together to ensure a safe environment, a community that is safe. The drug issues is a very serious one, and so the public has to put their mind in, support the institution to fight together.
The Commission says that while state security agencies continue to strengthen border surveillance, sustained public vigilance and awareness remains critical to preventing drug abuse and disrupting trafficking networks operating within the region. Castro Senyala, TV3 News, Bolgatanga.
Now, a former Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission and Board of Trustees who were the members of the Africa Institute of Mathematical Science, Ghana, Professor Mohamed Salifu, has called for stronger collaboration between academia and government to accelerate Ghana's development. Speaking at the passing out of students at the Africa Institute for Mathematical Science in Accra, Professor Salisu stressed that science, technology, and engineering remains a critical driver of the economic growth.
The ceremony brought together vice-chancellors and partner universities, deans, head of departments and government officials, as 130 students from 24 African countries graduated with master's degree in mathematical science. With science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM education remaining a key government priority, Professor Mohamed Salifu underscored the need for stronger collaboration between academia and government, backed by increased investment in educational institutions.
Working closely with the government of Ghana, which has led in the reform efforts in terms of reconfiguring how science and mathematics education should be approached. We are helping from development of the capacity in terms of teachers to complement that effort.
Center President Dr. Prince Corey Osei highlighted the institution's groundbreaking research, strategic partnerships, and its continued commitment to nurturing Africa's next generation of mathematical scientists and innovators.
Our ambition is not simply to graduate exceptional mathematicians, but to see every graduate transition successfully into meaningful careers where they will create impact, drive innovation, and contribute to Africa's development.
Guest alumni speaker and senior lecturer at the Department of Statistics and Actuarial Science, University of Ghana, Dr. Perpetual Andamboy Kwe, said mathematicians have a critical role to play in driving national development and cannot afford to fail their countries.
Failure is not a default on your potential. It is simply data. It is feedback. Every setback is just an iteration in the algorithm of your ultimate success. Go out into the world and disrupt it with your brilliance.
Degrees were awarded to students from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology KNUST, the University of Cape Coast and the University of Ghana, while special awards were presented to outstanding graduates from Ghana and Madagascar.
And that's how we end News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haliga. New Day continues.
Single morning, because you can have the best of cars, you can have the best of areas to live in, but if grace does not bring you, because anything can happen on the way, a tree can fall, thunder could strike you, anything at all could happen. Visibility could be very, very poor, that will result in accidents. So if we are here together, of course, with you, Beatrice, this morning, we are super, super grateful to God. And we are grateful to you as well for tuning in this morning. We've got a lot of information about the rains this morning, but if you live in these areas, if you live in Tesano, Abeka, Jolu, Apenkwa to the Peace FM area, Kasua, the areas are flooded. Please be careful if you're commuting from your homes. And we are also told that around the Achimota Forest area, a big tree has fallen in that vicinity, so it's making commute to and fro very difficult this morning. So please, you may want to be on the lookout for that one. If there are other alternatives that you can use, please use it. These days, what I do is wherever I want to go, I just put it in my Google map. And then it shows me which of the routes to use. So if you enter where you're going and there's a lot of traffic, I'm sure that Google Map can show you. But we're also here to guide you this morning. Please be careful. It's still raining cats and dogs out there. I don't know what's happening, but this year, the amount of rain we have received, I think, has surpassed what we had last year, 2025. I mean, we are here in the studio, very much covered and very much protected from sound and all of that, but we still can hear the showers.
And it's very loud.
It's very, very loud. It's very loud. So you may want to be careful as you commute from home. If you don't have to, if it's possible for you to work remotely today, I think, or maybe some part of the morning, I think that you should, instead of rushing to get out of the house. I can just imagine the houses inundated with floods this morning. I can imagine that by 12 noon, we are going to be receiving a lot of reportage when it comes to flooding and properties also getting destroyed. So this morning, as you are maybe in the comfort of your home, I'm saying maybe because it's not everyone who probably is comfortable this morning, send us videos if your phones are still active, if your phones are still working. Send us videos of where you live and let's know. If you're already on the road as well, if it's possible to take videos of the traffic situation, please share them with us. You already know our WhatsApp number. We'll do well to share them here on TV3 Newday. But we are grateful to God and we are grateful to you as well for choosing us. But just make sure that you are being careful as you commute from your home to wherever it is that you're going this morning. Beatrice, you look absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Pamoni is doing wonders for you. Pamoni used to give me clothes and Beatrice has taken over. But I'm happy that my sister has taken over because she's looking dashing every morning. This looks very good on you.
Thank you.
Red shoes, blue suit. And then your makeup is popping, girl. So in our local parlance, you know those times that we used to trip pony. You know, what trip pony in now?
Is it the time they used to do punk also? Like punk?
No, but this is actually pony.
Okay.
So when you take all your hair back, then you leave small hair. So there was you just leave a bit here. There was one time that I asked my auntie, said, "Neya muja to hano." Those days I didn't have hair. So I was like, "Neya muja to hano." Your friend is so I see your friend me from so. But you look amazing this morning. How was your weekend?
Yes, it was great. Not too exciting because of the Black Stars. So
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why not too exciting because of the Black Stars?
Well, I was hoping
because Croatia scored us. Listen, the calculations that were going on.
I know. I read all of that over the weekend. If we win that game, we're going to go to Canada. It means Partey cannot join us.
Let me actually give you a little education, and of course, for people watching this morning, you know I love my football. So I really follow my football. In actual sense, we should be applauding all the African countries who are partaking in this year's 2026 FIFA World Cup, because from the 20%, you know, out of all the countries that have ever been, African countries that have ever been to the World Cup, it's just been 15 of us out of the 54 countries that we have in Africa. Yeah. Only 15 of us have been at the World Cup. Now, let me tell you, before we shifted from the usual 32 to the 48 teams, only 5 African countries qualified or were qualifying to play in the World Cup. Yeah. But this year, when it was open to 48, now we have 10 African countries representing. Usually, we do not even make it to the finals at all. Yeah. You remember what happened to Ghana in 2010? I don't even want to talk about it. Yes. And then in 2014, Algeria and Nigeria made it to the knockout stages. Yeah. And then in 2022, Morocco and Senegal also made it to the knockout stages. Yeah. But this year, after Tunisia went out, and unfortunately yesterday South Africa went out, we are actually celebrating an 80 to 90% progression from the usual 20% for African nations. Yeah. So we should actually be applauding African nations for making it this far. Because mind you, before we entered into this competition, most European supporters didn't even want an African representation. They said that opening it up for African countries, to 10 African countries to participate, was like diluting the competition. And I remember the manager of Italy at the time, the coach Gattuso, he said that opening it up for many African countries to actually participate would create difficulties. That is what he said. Now, fast forward, Senegal and Morocco have been Africa's favorites because, of course, they won the AFCON. One person won, and then a few days later, they declared that the other person. That's
another thing we don't want to talk about.
So Senegal and Morocco have been the favorites of African teams at the World Cup. But all in all, Africans have not been regarded at all. Worst of all has been Ghana and Algeria. Yeah. We are the least favorites. We are the underdogs because everybody knows how we have been struggling and fighting for our lives when it comes to football in recent times. Yeah. So for Ghana and all the other African countries to actually make it to the knockout stages, girl,
and you know,
we need to be applauded.
For instance, the first to actually get to the knockout stage.
So
and
we
then
need,
we had a newcomer,
honey,
coming
so
in.
we need to be applauded. I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
Now, the calculations that were happening was that if we were first or second on the league table or in our group, it meant that we're going to face Portugal. A lot of people were afraid, but I don't think that we should be afraid of Portugal, seeing how our boys are starting to play now. I am actually afraid of Colombia that we are going to face right now because they gave, which team did Colombia play against the other day? Chantal, which team did Colombia play against the other day? Was it Portugal? Yes. Listen, they did not give them any chance at all. And if that is the same technique and tactics that they are bringing for the Ghana game, then Ghana, we must really prepare because these are the knockout stages. And unfortunately, yesterday, our South African brothers, they went back home.
To the country.
I'm so sorry, South Africa, because they fought a good fight. Listen, yesterday the defense was amazing. I was trying to catch up with the news whilst peeing. South Africa, I think you should be very proud of your country because you did amazing before you exited the knockout stages. It hurts me that they are out, but now Ghana, we need to make a statement. Africa is watching, the world is watching. Many European supporters did not even want any sort of African participation at all. Most people actually believe that the World Cup is for the Euros, is for Brazil, and then it's for Argentina. I support Argentina too because of the GOAT Messi, but we should applaud African countries for how far they have come. We'll be talking about it this morning, as well as the rains. Wherever you are, if you're being affected, please let us know. I mentioned a number of areas that we have received reports of flooding. Tessano, Abekam, Jolu, Apenkwa to the Peace FM area, Kaswa, and please be minded that a tree has also fallen around the Achimota Forest area. So if you're commuting in those areas, please be careful. And if it's possible to work remotely this morning, kindly work remotely. You can call in your boss. Of course, they are all in this country. They can tell what's happening. If it's possible to stay at home, kindly stay at home, and then you will be safe. All right, Beatrice?
Yes, so we'll talk about that a little bit more.
We want to talk about the big issue as well.
Yes, so we'll talk about that. So it means that now we have about 8 with South Africa being out. And of course, we'll also talk about what the Transport Minister told us about last week about government receiving 2 locomotives and 20 freight wagons. We'll look at that. And it is basically for the railway sector, how it is going to improve our railway system. But already the
these locomotives and trains we're talking about were from the Margaret Thatcher days.
That's what people are
exactly
saying. Yeah.
And I also agree with the minority. Look, these are outmoded. And see, if we bring them into this country, next start to say, what are we going to be doing about them? Where are we going to get the spare parts and everything
of the minority? So we'll have representatives really joining us to talk about it. We'll have the minority member on the Transport Policy Committee joining us. Of course, our regular Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin, political communication analyst, will also be joining us. Andrew Apia Dankwa is our regular panel member as well. Awal Muhammad, spokesperson. That's the one I just talked about for the MPP Transport Policy Committee. And we'll have Bernard Bediakun, the Member of Parliament for Akwetia, also joining us as well.
I really want to hear what they have to say because in the UK, so yesterday I had to call up my brother in the UK to ask what class they are using right now because they actually thrive on the train system. So we are bringing in class 56 which was manufactured in the 1970s and then 283. Okay, but they now are running between 66 and even 99, class 99. So look at the gap. Well, I'm not an expert yet and I'm not pretending to be an expert this morning, but let's wait for our guest to see if we'll get any insights, and maybe we can speak to somebody from the Transport Ministry, especially somebody who's got expertise when it comes to the train system, so we know how safe we are in bringing these locomotives to Ghana. Yesterday, whilst I was reading, I just went on Instagram and I realized that which country is it? I've forgotten the name of the country. They are actually using electric trains that can travel in. You know what? I'll tell you about it because
fast trains in Europe,
and now we are bringing in 1976 to 1993 locomotives into the country. It's difficult to be a third world country, very difficult. But anyway, we wait to see what our experts have to say. Let's switch over to this morning segment. I'm sure we can activate the phone line so you call us and tell us your experiences with the rains and the flooding this morning. Here at Media General, we are even finding or getting our fair share of it. Somebody has sent a message and said, how are you guys at work? It's just too great. It's too great for us to be at work. And Beatrice, this morning, I want to applaud all the technicians in this house. Media General, TV3, Onuya, Akuma, everybody is stationed this morning. And sometimes, you rightly ask, how do we get here? So to all the cameramen, everyone here this morning, thank you very much. Control room, Harriet, all the drivers, everyone, Shadrach, Anita, all of you who have, Amoncho, the switcher, all of you, and Danny, Eben, everyone, the people who mic us, sound, everyone. Everyone. Bright is there. Mr. Chu, everyone who is present at work this morning. God bless you. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. Amoncho is right here in studio, still trying to make sure that everything is working well. We're super grateful to have all of you. But just in case you are not up yet, we are here to do the work for you. It's a privilege, actually, and it's a blessing to be coming your way this morning. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Get ready for this morning. Apenkwa to the Peace FM area, Kasua, and then in the Achimota area, a tree has also fallen around the Achimota forest area. So the visuals you're seeing on your TV screens is actually from Jowulu. And I can imagine the person who sent this video, thank you so very much. We are very, very grateful. But from the speed of your wiper, so it's Anita from the control room who sent it to us. Wow. So from the speed.
Fiesta Royal area, I see.
I think, yes. I think that's the Fiesta Royal area. And that's what you're seeing right now. I know this is going to make commuting very, very difficult. When it's like this, you don't even see the gutters.
Yes.
You don't see the potholes. You don't see anything. So you may want to be very careful this morning.
Just stay in the middle.
Yes, this is Jowulu. This is Jowulu. So please be careful. And like I indicated, from the speed of the wiper, you can actually tell that it is raining cats and dogs. And I can imagine people struggling just to make their way to work this morning. Please be careful. I can imagine the number of cars that may get spoiled and be parked. Yes, it's a lot of rain. That's a lot of rain. And if your car is low, if you're not using an SUV or a 4Runner, you may encounter some problems this morning. I hope this lady standing there is safe because she is drenched in the rain, and I can even imagine other health hazards that this will cause this morning. And so if you live in these areas, I'll say that again: Abekam, Tesano, Jowulu, Apenkwa, to the Peace FM area, Kasua, Achimota, please be careful. Lolo Gasparini says the rain is heavy today. Please, we want you to go to the grounds in Accra so we see. We'll do our best to hit the grounds for you to see exactly what's going on. Nana Osai Jr. says, good morning, Cookie and Beatrice. You both look stunning this morning. Thank you. May God bless you and keep you safe everywhere you go. Okay. Let's take a little break now. We will be back with a lot more on the floods.
Big pose. Little explorer, big discovery. Your little one is eager to
Jolo area, how massive the flooding is, and asking you if you're using that route, you're currently there, to be careful wherever you find yourself, particularly in the capital city, and if the situation is worse, please send us videos. But we're telling you earlier of really some of the areas that need to be careful. Tesano, Kanda. We have videos actually coming from Kanda as well. We'll be showing you that video very shortly, but the situation is very bad. Cookie, this morning when I was coming, I used the 37 road, and just in front of the hospital, it was that bad. I've never experienced, I've never driven in such heavy rain.
What we are even experiencing just around here, the Kanda area here, is actually unprecedented. We haven't seen that in this area before. I wish we would have a conversation this morning with someone from the meteorological agency to tell us how much millimeter of rain we're experiencing this morning. But however, a release yesterday came through from the Ghana Meteorological Agency telling us the amount, the percentage of rain and the temperatures to expect. We'll be projecting that on your screen so we all go through it together. But it was signed yesterday by the duty forecaster Rebecca Bediakun yesterday. No, actually this morning, 29th of June, 2026. So this is very fresh coming in this morning. Guys at the back, if we are ready, let's project it on the screen, or we can also take that video coming in. Which area did you say it was coming from? Because we've done Joel already. Kanda.
Yes, we'll be having Kanda very soon.
So we have visuals from Kanda where we are right now. Let's take a look.
Look at this.
All right. So we can tell this is Kanda at the moment. Yes.
This is.
I'm also trying to figure out which part of Kanda this is, but that's the situation.
Like it's probably close to the.
You know this area? I'm not familiar with this. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this area. But I think this is around the mosque. Yes, I think this is around the mosque area. And look at the devastation on our roads. Almost all the shops are closed this morning. Look at water gushing through the gutters. And yes, food vendors, everyone is totally absent this morning. All the shops are closed because in normal fashion, all these places would have been open this morning. Food vendors would have been selling by this time, but that's not the case today because of the heavy rains and the flooding that we are seeing on our screens.
It tells us of the need to construct a lot more storm drains.
Yes, we have to.
Because these gutters we have are quite tiny and are not able to contain a lot of water. I mean, the water gushing out alone, not just on one spot. I saw at least 2 spots. It shows that we need a lot more storm drains to contain the water. But Cookie, you were talking earlier about the percentages of the rains we should be expecting. There are certain areas that will be receiving a lot more rain, like 60% and above. And so if you find yourself in Aflao, and these days you're able to tell which areas have consistent flooding. And so with the heavy rains coming in, if you are in Aflao and you are in an area where it gets flooded whenever it rains, even not heavily, you need to be careful because you're going to be receiving about 60% of rains today. Angloga as well, that should be in the
flooding over
region.
there, right?
Exactly. And Greater Accra, we already experiencing it, which is about 60% of rain. Kaswa, Cookie, you mentioned that earlier. Winneba in the central region, Cape Coast as well. So Cape Coast is not really receiving a lot, just about 30%. But these areas, and then we have so it means we are having a lot more areas in the Volta region.
Someone has also sent, Mr. Principal has sent a video of his house this morning. Gentlemen at the back, I forwarded it to you. If we can load it up and play it, I would be very, very grateful. A lot more messages are coming. Kwamina Acidity says, good morning, ladies. Congratulations to the Black Stars who have qualified for the knockout stage. The spirit of the Ghana Black Star is back. Let's rally behind this team. Special greetings to Chairman Sadiq, incoming AHAF original organizer. All right. So we are going to go through the figures that we have here from the Ghana Meteorological Agency in just a few seconds, so you have an idea of the percentage of rain to expect in your area. But from what we are seeing right now, as to what we've shown you from Jolu, and Kandahar as well. The situation is not to be toyed with at all. If you can remain indoors, kindly do so we do not record casualties today. You're still watching TV3 Newday. Welcome to this morning's segment.
Continue on Sonyani Avenue for 800 meters. On Sonyani Avenue for 800 meters.
Its thing this morning, and as indicated earlier, you may want to stay indoors if it is possible to work remotely this morning. The situation is quite dire. We need all of you alive and we need all of you safe. If it's possible to remain at home or to work remotely, please just let your authorities at work know. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. But as indicated this morning, we got this forecast from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. This is an 18-hour forecast for the entire nation, and it is valid from 6 a.m. today, the 29th of June, 2026. And the summary says the rain, with or without thunder of varying intensity, currently affecting parts of the coast and a few inland areas, is expected to persist throughout the forecast period amidst patches of mist or fog over the forest and mountainous areas. However, a weak to moderate rainstorm sighted along the coast of Togo, Benin, is anticipated to propagate westward, bringing increased cloud cover and triggering thunderstorms with rain over southern Ghana from this morning into afternoon hours. So now let's start from this morning. Aflao is experiencing a 60% chance of rain, so it means that it is rain with thunderstorm. When you see the TSRA, it means the thunderstorm coming along with rains. So in Aflao this morning, temperatures are about 25 degrees Celsius now. By afternoon, the 60% chance of rain will reduce to 40 and temperatures will rise to about 30 degrees Celsius. And by evening, it would mostly be cloudy with temperatures reducing to about 26. So that's for Aflao. Let's go to Angloga. This morning, 60% chance of rain. So I can tell that there's a thunderstorm together with rain in Angloga. Temperatures as at this morning, 25. In the afternoon, it will get to 30 and mostly cloudy in the evening of 25. I think Accra is also following in the same fashion, 60%. So if this is 60% in Accra, you can imagine if it's 80 or 100. Wow. So temperatures in Accra also now 25. Later in the afternoon, it will reduce to about 40. And then in the evening, there would also still be rain in Accra, 30%. So it looks like for Accra, the entire day will be wet. It's going to make business very difficult in Accra today. Let's now move to Kaswa. There's also a thunderstorm with rain, 60%, temperatures reading 25. It will reduce to 40 by afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius by evening, and then mostly by afternoon, I beg your pardon, and then mostly cloudy, which will reduce to 25. So Kaswa, Winneba, Cape Coast, Takrade, Axim would also record 24 this morning, 24 degrees Celsius. So apart from Winneba, Cape Coast, apart from Winneba, which is also experiencing a thunderstorm and rain at 60% this morning, Cape Coast is experiencing 30, Takrade 30, Axim 30. Temperatures now reading 24 degrees. It will reduce to about 60-40%, depending if you are in Cape Coast or Takrade. Temperatures in the afternoon will rise to about 29, but it will mostly be cloudy, and temperatures in the evening will be reading about 25 degrees Celsius. Now let's come to home. Ho is also at 60% right now, just like Accra. Temperatures reading 25. Thunderstorm with rain will reduce to 40. And then by afternoon, Ho will get very hot this afternoon.
Yes.
It will come to about 32 degrees, but mostly cloudy in the evening at 26 degrees. Koforidia experiencing 40%. Akimoda also 40. Kwewutafo 40. Kumase, it's misty in Kumase at the moment, also at 40%. Obuase also misty, 40%. Takwa misty at 40%. Seshi Bekwai also 40%, with temperatures running between averagely 23 to 25 degrees this morning. But of course, temperatures will rise in the afternoon between 31, 30 and 32 this afternoon for all the areas that I have mentioned. But by evening, it will come down to about 26 to 25. Some parts mostly cloudy. Bakumase this evening, there's still a 40% chance of a thunderstorm with rain. Kumase this evening. So that's the situation. Now let's expand it and go to, guys, can you help me? Okay, let's expand it and go to Atebubu. Okay, so I ended at Seshibekwa. So let's go to Ketekrachi and Atebubu. Those areas are running temperatures of 26 degrees this morning, 40% thunderstorm with rain. In the afternoon, it will go to 34 and 33, but in the evening, it will be 26 and 25. Some also still experiencing Ketekrachi, for instance, still experiencing rain at 40%, but in Atebubu, it will mostly be cloudy this evening. Now, let's go to the Ejura, Kintampo, Goso, Sunyane areas. All these areas are recording 40% this morning. Temperatures reading between 23 and 25. In the afternoon, there will still be thunderstorm with rain at 40%. In the afternoon, however, temperatures will go to about 33, but reduce to 25 and 26 in the evening. Let's conclude this morning by taking the northern and savannah region. Sampa is misty this morning at 40%. Yendi, Tamale, Bole, Damango, they are all mostly cloudy this morning. It looks like it's not raining in those areas yet, but they are recording temperatures of between 25 and 27. Yendi, Tamale, Bole, all those areas are recording a little high temperatures this morning. It doesn't look like it's raining, but on your screens right now, we have visuals from Malam Junction, quite speedy, but you can tell from the other side of the bridge that the flood is not a joke at all. Malam Junction on your screens right now, as you can see.
But you know what amazes me about the numbers you just gave us are the temperatures we're seeing. I could be wrong, but I remember when I was growing up, anytime it rained, the temperature was still very calm.
Yes.
It was still very cool. But
yes.
now it can rain, stop raining, and become very
hot
warm immediately. And I think the experts may attribute it to global warming, among others. But a number of you already sending us your messages, so I could just bring some of them back to you. Prince Henry Koforidia says, good morning, Queen Beatrice. You're looking awesome and blazing. Thank you. Says the Black Stars will be the stars of Africa in this tournament. God bless our homeland, Ghana.
We pray.
And says, yes, Prince Henry Koforidia. Kwamina Acidity Ahafwachensia says, good morning, beautiful ladies. Congratulations to the Ghana Black Stars who have qualified for the knockout stage. The spirit of Ghana Black Star is back. Let us rally behind this team. And then special greetings to Chairman Sadiq. And then there's also Aziz Dolawa in the Upper West region. Okay, he's also talking about rains in the Upper West region. And he says it rained the whole of last night in Wa, and the flood is all over Wa. So please, if you're in Wa in the Upper West region, send us the videos. Let us see what's happening in that part of the country as well. And he says the destruction is becoming unbearable in this municipality. Good morning to my one and only boss, Sharif Khalid. And perhaps I can read this before you come in, Cookie. It says, Abbas Offenso says, good morning, Beatrice. Congratulations to the Black Stars for the qualification. The spread is up and all the country is behind them. Regards to Lawyer Abbas Nuruddin.
All right. This morning from Kumasi, we've got our Ashanti regional correspondent, Ibrahim Abubakar. And before I come to you, Ibrahim, the forecast we have from the Meteorological Agency this morning for Kumasi says it's 40% chance of rain this morning. It's misty. Temperatures reading 25. In the afternoon, there's still 40% thunderstorm with rain. And the temperatures will rise to about 32, and then in the evening it will come down to 26. Ibrahim, is that the situation over there, or it's a little different?
Well, exactly. That's also the information we take from the meteorological department here in the Ashanti region. Fortunately for us, the weather is quite good. You know, anytime it threatens to rain, there are people who obviously are not happy because of the flooding situation in their various communities. So at least hearing that this morning it's about 25%, which means that the probability of any downpour coming this morning is low. People are happy, they've gone about doing their normal activities. So whilst others are praying that the rain comes, others are also praying that it shouldn't come. At least even if it will come, it should be later in the evening, especially for traders who ply their trade in the open spaces. When it rains, usually in mornings like this, especially today morning, it kind of disrupts economic activities and also other social activities. So the weather is quite okay this morning, and we are not too sure whether it will rain by the close of the day or not, because looking at the percentage, it is hovering around 25% to 40%, and that tells us that it is likely not to rain.
Okay. You may want to be careful, because from the forecast that we have here, like you rightly mentioned, it's misty this morning. So that's why you see that it's a little cloudy and misty. But the agency is telling us that by afternoon, you have a 40% chance of a thunderstorm together with rain, and that would extend to evening. So you may want to use your platforms over there in Kumasi to tell the population over there, or the citizenry over there, that there's a high chance of rain from afternoon till evening. Ibrahim, but let's talk about something important which you brought our attention to last week: waste management. We know that it's still a challenge, and now that we are about to record more rains, especially for Kumasi today, give us an update on what's happening.
Well, fortunately, last week Thursday, the authorities made that effort to fix the old bulldozers on the site, you know. And the initial discussion that we had, we informed viewers that those bulldozers are broken down, even though new ones will help, but they've been able to fix the old ones, which are two. And so for that matter, from last week, Friday, coming to today, things have improved. The waste collectors are able to move to the dumping site, which is the Oti landfill site, and be able to dump their waste and come back. But still, the queues are there. They are spending long hours in those areas. But then it's better compared to a week or two ago, where people even have to spend the entire day before they will have the opportunity to dispose of their waste. From Friday, they've been able to, at least some are able to go twice, others too are able to go once. So we've begun to see improvement. But even with that, you realize that most of the drainage are still choked with waste. And even some areas, any bushy area that, or bushy space that you see, you find waste there, because some of these waste collectors, looking at the number of hours they go and spend at the dumping site, whichever space that they find which is quite bushy, and when they look around and they realize there is no one watching, there is no one around, I'm sure they do them maybe midnight or at dawn, because you will not see the time they will be dumping the waste. But then you move there today, you will not see. The next morning, you pass by the same area and you find a heap of waste around those areas. So yes, it is contributing to waste crisis in Kumasi, but then, like I said, we are beginning to see some improvement, which the waste collectors are praying that they will see more or new bulldozers on site so that it will be able to level the ground for them to also be able to dispose of their waste on time. Like we said, city authorities say they are still in talks with some or the Kumasi Traditional Council so that they will find them new spaces to be able to dispose of the waste or properly manage the place where we dispose of the waste whilst they look at long-term solution, because the long-term solution obviously will have to be about reusing and recycling our waste so that the quantum of waste we dump on our landfill will be lesser than what we are seeing currently.
All right, Ibrahim, thank you very much. But we would want you to keep an eye on security for us. Just as you've indicated, you don't see the people dumping the refuse, but by the time it's morning, they have dumped refuse over there. So I think that we must take security more importantly. So you may want to engage a few security agencies or even the police to help us curb this. It's a nuisance. It's a behavior that must be nipped in the bud. It happens here in Accra as well. So you may want to be on the lookout for us. You have a question for him?
Though, yes, I just wanted to find out which communities within the metropolis were worst affected by this challenge. And yes, you said generally the situation has improved, but how they are picking up in terms of dealing with the challenge?
So almost all the communities, because here in Kumasi, the Oti landfill is the final destination for waste generated by more than 3 million people. So you can imagine the pressure on that facility. And even already we are told that the facility has gone beyond its capacity. It was supposed to last for 15 years, but as we speak, we've used it for more than 2 decades and counting. So ideally, the place should have shut down. So it's not only Kumasi. We look at KMA, we look at 10 other district and municipal assemblies who also dump their waste there. So it affects every part of Kumasi, especially you go to the central business district, situations were getting worse. You look at places like Abuabo, places like Aswa, places like Eja Zongo, and that place I went there last weekend, I saw so many tricycle parks in those communities with waste. So you could also imagine the health implications because people were complaining, people were fighting these tricycle operators who had collected waste but have left them there. And they also kept telling them that when they go to the dumping site, they are unable to dispose of this waste. And waste were piling. You look at all communities, waste were piling. So the crisis was becoming more, and authorities had to step in briefly or quickly to be able to at least fix these bulldozers so that they will be able to compact the waste. So for now, we are just doing a knee-jerk reaction, but we need the long-term solution because for what we've done, if the bulldozer breaks down, I can tell you in the next 2-3 days, we'll go back to the old situation. So these are the things that we are looking at. So we've done a documentary, which I'm told will be played this morning on Kumasi's mountain waste crisis. And we investigated the growing pressure on the city's waste management system, revealing how the OT landfill has exceeded its capacity after more than 2 decades, like I mentioned, of operation. And also the documentary is uncovering the environmental, public health, operational challenges, and even the health implication of this work to the waste collectors and even the waste pickers whose livelihood depend on this work.
Indeed. Ibrahim Abubakar, thank you very much for bringing us the latest from there. And we're all looking forward to the details of that documentary, and hopefully even before we play it, health officials are on high alert, educating people on what to do in the midst of this challenge. You're still here on Newday on TV3. When we come back, we'll bring you the big issue and some more. Do stay with us. into the information that was given us last week by the Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari Nipe, about the fact that Ghana has received about 2 locomotives and 20 freight wagons just to help improve the railway systems in Ghana. We've already had a minority on the Transport Committee in Parliament raising alarm over the details of these locomotives produced from 1973, within the 1970s to the 80s, and questioning whether or not Ghana really would benefit from this and whether it adds any value, long-term value, to our rail system and, of course, eventually our transport system. But we'll, of course, begin with the floods, at least for now, and to bring you a lot more update as regards to what's happening. We'll be bringing you, okay, so there we have it, the visuals from Ordona around Circle. So we understand that the drain is already overflowing the banks. You can see over there a lot of flood. So if you're within this area, please again be very careful because of this. Already the message that came in from the Ghana Meteo Agency indicated that the sea is going to be very dangerous within this period. And so if you're closer to the sea, we're showing you the Ordona situation as well. Be very careful. And earlier we're saying if it is necessary for you to stay indoors, please do. You can see the kiosks all submerged. And it also exposes the debt, the sanitation situation in that parts of the country as well. So it looks like really structures completely submerged in the rainwaters, as you can see on your screens, and some containers already being swept away by the intensity of the flood waters. And that's coming from Ordona. We'll be bringing you a lot more visuals as we get them from across the country. But let me introduce my panel this morning. I do have in the studio with us Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin. He's political communications analyst. Good morning to you, Doc. It's great to have you here.
Good morning, Dee.
Yes, heavy rains happening. It's still raining heavily. You managed as well to come. Thank you for joining us. Of course, I do have in the studio as well Mr. Awal Mohammed, spokesperson, NPP Transport Policy Committee. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us, even in the midst of the rain. Yes, and we'll have with us very shortly Mr. Andrew Apiakubi. He's actually Director of Legal Affairs with the United Party. And of course, we'll have with us from the governing NDC, Mr. Bernard, the Honorable Bernard Bidiako, who is a private legal practitioner as well as NDC Member of Parliament for Akwatia in the Eastern region. Let's go to my colleague, Crosby Annan, who is currently in Jowulu, also in Accra. We brought you pictures, videos earlier from that area. Crosby, if you can hear me, tell us exactly where you are and what the situation is like there.
It makes me want to start with asking the question, where in Accra does it not flood? Is it Kanishti? We know that it floods already. Is it Circle? We know that the place floods. Ordona is flat. The usual places, Ala, Jonima, Aboso, Kaya, Dabraka, Graphic Road, all these places, Wager, we know that they are flood-prone areas. So people would say that move to new places, okay? Move to higher grounds. So you decide to, okay, let me go and live at East Lake on Hills. It's a place, it's a new community coming up and all of that. You get there, but by the time you realize it is flooding. Okay, go to Asalibote. It's a new community. Authorities will be careful in planning and the settlement arrangements and assemblies will be working properly. You get there and by the time you realize it's flooding. Ganasko is flooding, Adenta is flooding, Pantine, Ofanko, Akwetemai, even Spintex, Trasapo. All the surrounding areas around the communities that I've mentioned, they are all flooding. Even places that used to sound like same modern addresses are now part of the flood conversation. So where exactly will you live in Accra that will not flood? Even Jowulu is flooding. In fact, coming from the Domi area, the Christian Village Bridge now is completely submerged. People have been cut off. And we'll get to that. But imagine that this is you are a doctor. You live around that area. You live around them. You have a facility maybe around the Atimota Hospital, that area. And that is oftentimes the road that you're going to use to get to your facility. You need to get to work at 8 o'clock. So you decide to you want to be there early. You want to be there by 7:30. And then you set off and then you are caught up in traffic because the road is flooded, the road is cut off. What happens to the patients in the facility who need your services? What happens to the health, the life that you need to save there? You understand? It's a very concerning problem. It's a concerning situation that we need to turn our attention to. Because the productivity levels, the productivity demands that we are losing because we have neglected to plan, to enforce laws, is disturbing. Just to join you right now, and opposite the Forest Chapel, there is an intersection. The place is flooded. The place is choked. Cars cannot go, cars cannot come. People using public transport cannot get to work. People who are using vehicles that are closer to the ground, they cannot get to work. It means that we are losing money as a nation. When it rains like this, people cannot get to work. Teachers cannot get to school to go and teach. I have to, if you like, give a lift to a woman and a toddler because the toddler was going to work to class around the Achimota school. And I was telling her that around this time that we have gotten to the school with the situation we find ourselves in right now, with how much it is raining, I can tell you that it is only 2 people who will be in the school, you and the headmaster. When it is raining like this, nurses cannot report on time. It means that lives are at stake. Doctors cannot report on time. Lives are at stake. Traders cannot open their shops. Productivity is going. Drivers park for hours. They need money to help the economy move. They park for hours. They spoil their vehicles because the flood waters will get into the parts of the vehicles and all of that. It's that productivity we're talking about. Students will miss class. Delivery people cannot make the deliveries they have to make. So the entire economy, the entire value chain comes to a complete halt. Right now, go to the ministries, Beatrice, and see whether you will find staff there. Yes, if work is start at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock. With what we're talking about right now, get there at 10, 11, 12. You can count with your fingers the number of people who will be in the various offices working. Is that not productivity that we are losing? And that is because somebody failed to plan, somebody failed to enforce the law, somebody failed to do what they had to do to prevent a certain area from flooding. Fuel is wasted in traffic. Businesses lose customers. Markets lose goods. Homes will lose furniture. Stores will lose stock. That's a lot of things we're losing. And then we invite into the conversation the concern about productivity. Now listen to this. In 2026, between, should every worker still be forced to cross flooded roads just to go and sit behind a laptop and work in an office? If every meeting still requires people to move from Kaswa to Race, from Adenta to airport, from Pokra people from fintechs to ministries, when the same meeting can happen online, it's good to know that. In fact, this morning we've seen a message from our HR telling us that those who can work from home should work from home. That's a good thing the HR is doing. But we are a private organization. What happens to the public service workers? Do we have systems that allows people to stay at home and still work effectively? Should a mother risk her life through flood water just to go and sign a certain document in a certain office that can be signed digitally? Should a young person sit in traffic for hours because of rain, only to arrive at work tired, late, unproductive, frustrated? Yet we say that we are digitalizing Ghana. And that's another leg of the conversation. Digitalization cannot only be about the applications, the apps, the cards, the platforms, and the speeches. These are very good initiatives, very good policies. But the impact is that digitalization must solve real-life problems. It must help people to work when the roads fail. It must help people to work when they cannot get into the offices to work. It must help government services continue when offices are inaccessible. Like, go to the various government agencies right now. You will not find a single soul there because the roads are cut off. They are left at home. They cannot get to the various offices to work. You understand? If we are talking about digitalization, it must help businesses operate when businesses are trapped at home. And some private businesses are doing that, but some private businesses have been able to leverage on some things government has provided and are doing that. But for the government agencies themselves, there may be a platform that on paper is able to deal with it, but in reality doesn't work.
Indeed. Noble Crosbyan and my colleague bring us updates from the situation in Jowulu, and of course expressing the same frustration that a number of Ghanaians have expressed about why we keep having floodings, why we know the problems, and yet every year we have to experience the same challenges. What are we doing to fix it? This is Adabraka, and you can see there again another level of devastation. See that car, looks like a Toyota Vitz there, almost completely submerged in water in that part of the country at Dabraka, just right here in Accra. And it looks like a very dangerous even area to try and navigate your way through right now because of the level of the flood waters, as you can see on your screens right now. So we keep telling you that whichever part of the country you find yourself, please send us the videos and let us know what the situation is like. And perhaps we can speak to Alex Kenate. He is a PRO for the Ghana National Fire Service. He joins us live on the phone even before we get the preliminary thoughts of my panel members right here in studio. Mr. Kenate, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Beatrice.
I want to believe that this morning the Ghana National Fire Service as well with your team very busy assessing the situation across parts of the country. Bring us an idea of what you have found from the perspective of the Ghana National Fire Service so far.
Well, so thank you very much. So it's been a very busy morning for our team across the country. I can confirm that our team from industrial area are currently at Sakaman. They just finished extinguishing a fire involving a story building. We've embarked on a lot of rescue, including Ingo, Tema New Town, New Chio, Katswa, and a lot of other places as I speak to you right now. And so, as a service, we are committed. We've attended 3 falling incidents in various parts, including Living Ridge Hospital around the police post. And so it's been a busy morning for the service, and our emergency lines are very active and ready to serve.
Tell us more about the Sakaman fire that you said your men have just distinguished. Which property caught the fire? I know it's early days yet, but do we know the cause, preliminary view on what might have caused it and whether or not there have been any casualties, if you can tell us?
Well, so fortunately, there are no casualties because we suspect it's an electrical fire. We've always been letting people know that, contrary to people's opinion, that the fire service seems to enjoy a holiday when it's raining. It's rather the opposite. When rains, we record a lot of fires and a lot of incidents. And so a lot of these fires stem out of electrical faults. So we implore people that, especially during periods like this, when they are stepping out of their homes, they should make sure that they turn off all the electrical gadgets. They should get qualified electricians to audit their electrical systems and be sure if they have good earthing systems. These good earthing systems should be able to withstand the high pressure or the high voltage and low voltage that might come along with the rains. And with again, also call on benevolent organizations, individuals, and bodies to help donate items like pickups to the Ghana National Fire Service. The Interior Minister has done very well. Last year, donated some pickups, and we've converted some of these pickups into rapid intervention vehicles that are serving some areas. But yet, looking at the level of rains that we're experiencing, we need more of these rapid intervention vehicles.
Mr. Kenate, I just wanted you to clarify this for me before you go. If you can tell us which building it was it an office complex, a house, how many story building, how many story, or whether it was a normal building as it were?
So it was a story building, and it was a story building involving a house. It was a domestic fire. And so we were able to contain the fire to just the top floor. we were able to salvage the ground floor from the fire.
How many stories?
It was a one-story building.
A one-story,
the
and
ground
then
floor, and then the first floor.
And you also talked about the Ridge Hospital. What was the emergency situation that you needed to come in?
So a tree had fallen. There was a falling tree around the police post, and so officers from our national headquarters rescue team were there to clear the way because it had obstructed. And mind you, the Ridge Hospital entrance is an emergency road, and so people seeking medical care would use that way, and so any kind of hindrance would be a problem. And so officers did well to attend to that emergency to make sure that there was free flow of traffic at the entrance of the Ridge Hospital.
Thank you very much. We'll have to end it here, but we'll try and come back to you in case there's any update as regards what's happening with the floods, the impact across the country, particularly in the Greater Accra region. Alex Kinate speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service. I did tell you that I do have in the studio with us Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin, Political Communications Mohammed, spokesperson, the NPP Transport Committee. Perhaps, Doc, I can start with you because really the argument of people is that we know the problem, but there seems to have been a failure on our part to deal with it. What are your own views about what's happening right now?
All right, which is once again, good morning. Good morning to good morning to our viewers. I don't know whether to call it a blessing or a curse. Because you need water, you need the rains for a lot of things. Basically agriculture and all that. But what is happening now? I think that we have been overwhelmed, with the drainage facilities that we have in this country. I think that in the past, a lot more people have spoken about, attitude of Ghanaians, our behaviors, and the fact that we are also not doing enough, to, as it were, desilt, our drainage, to allow free flow of running water whenever it rains. People have spoken about, these Ramsey sites that have been taken over, and what past government and the present government have done, to restore that ecosystem. But it appears that, what I'm seeing, the pictures that are coming in, probably is either a combination of these factors, or probably the pouring from above, the rains, is so much that even if these things were there, we will still be seeing some level of flood.
And today we're actually receiving 60% per the Ghana Meteo Agency forecast.
Yeah.
It's not even up to 80 or 100.
Yeah. I remember, I think 2 years ago or something, in China, which has one of the best drainage systems, it occurred as a result of, I think, 2 days rains. And probably we should be thinking beyond the problem. Government should be acting, beyond what we are seeing. All right. Probably it is a warning to us that if you don't change our behaviors, if you don't change our attitude, these things would be bad for us. Look, Beatrice, when I was coming this morning, normally when I'm coming, I pass through certain areas of convenience to get me to this place on time. And one of the routes that I mostly use has to do with this Zongo Junction, through to
Madina Zongo Junction.
No, the Dansman, through to how do you call it, Abusokai, the Kolebu Road, then to Circle. And I was surprised to have seen that there are heaps of refuse, on one stretch of the road. Apparently, the rainwater has taken over, one stretch, and so we're all struggling with the other one. And I was even surprised that the overpass, the new Abusokan, the new one, was a bit flooded.
On the overpass itself?
Getting to the end of it. So all the cars coming cannot pass through, so they are all stuck on the bridge. So we were using one side of it. And that is bad. You get it? Yes. So when I saw the heap of, refuge there, I was like, does it mean that some people still indulge in these behaviors? Whenever they see rain, they come dump some of these things in there. And for a moment, I was tempted to believe that, yes, probably some of them have choked certain gutters in there. So the rain has no option but to take over the
Doc, to what extent do you see the failure of assemblies contributing to the problems you're having right now? You're just talking about refuse, heaps of refuse in certain areas. And then earlier you were talking about the Ramsar site. We've seen government officials, mayors go in there to demolish structures over and again. And yet assemblies are there supposed to be ensuring that you do the right thing even before the destruction of these things. To what extent do you believe that the assemblies have contributed to the challenges we are having now?
You see, the problems and the things that I'm hearing, I mean, it's somehow worrying because, you see, I'm also tempted to believe that the assemblies are operating under a tight kind of hands.
What does that mean?
What it means is that their authority doesn't go beyond some of these takeovers.
Including enforcing sanitation bylaws?
I'm telling you.
That prevent discriminatory...
No, I'm talking about the, how do you call it, the Ramsar sites. Okay, because, they give the permits. The assemblies give the permit for those buildings to be taking place and all that.
But the other side is also the choked gutters.
So I'll come to that. I just want to deal with the factors, So when their hands are tied and orders from above, it becomes a problem. So you get structures being built and then being destroyed. And then the same thing comes to you that you were supposed to have, brought down these buildings, or probably you shouldn't have allowed them. Okay, we saw something of the sort at Dansoman, all right, where the Greater Accra Regional Minister was on the neck of the municipal, the MC in there, and I think she gave him was it 72 hours to act, all right. I think he did what he has to do, and. Coming back, the question then now is, even the regional minister herself, after that incident, has she done a follow-up on these things, and has she ensured that all buildings CMR for demolition has been done? All right. With the issue of this sanitation thing, I think that, look, those days when we used to have this saman and the rest, you couldn't have behaved the way some people are behaving now. And again, it is the authority or probably the responsibility of the assemblies to ensure that gutters are desilted and all that. I think in the times past, is it this activity where there was a day in a month, to clean the sanitation day. What has happened to it? All right. Even at a point in time, when I was coming back from Uniba on the main road, between the SCC junction and Weja, I've seen that they've cleared some gutters, but the sun still remains at the edges of the gutters.
On the shoulders of the gutters or the road.
Exactly. And what it means is that this level of rain is still going to wash the sand back into the gutters. So if you have a sanitation day and people are cleaning the gutters, they are desilting the gutters, and still there are no trucks to convey these things to safe place, what is going to happen?
I've always wondered why we clean and then we leave them on the shoulders of the
it's
road.
It's a problem, but probably...
If you could land for me, and then I'll get a preliminary thought of Mr.
The worst of it, for me, is the number of recycling plants that probably we need to have. Recently, we saw this Aboboya, packed, so much on the Weja Road. And the problem was that they were not getting places to go and dump refuse. And we need to have this deliberate, decision to be taken, so that probably we get more recycling, sites, so that some of these collections can be done. At least when it is done and done well, trust me, Beatrice, this nation stands to benefit, because most of these things, we can use them for fertilizers and others.
And indeed, that's something that will be bringing you a lot more on from 9 a.m. We did tell you earlier that my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar has put together a report for us. I'm coming to you very shortly, Mr. Awal, but we're showing you visuals right now, and you can see, which area again is this one coming from? McCarthy down, and McCarthy is already a mountainous area, and so if you're living on McCarthy, in McCarthy down, it means that all the waters coming from the top are getting close to or entering exactly where you are, and that car completely submerged, really. I wonder, I hope that nobody in that area is injured, or there's no casualty in this particular vicinity, because it looks like half of the building, or more than half actually, already submerged in water, and the car there completely done. And Odona, we understand, is already full, and that's a storm drain. Completely full, and we understand potentially about to overflow its banks there. And so if you're using the Circle or Donna area, be very cautious, because the storm drain there full and potentially overflowing its banks. But Ms. Awal, I'm feeling, or I'm getting concerned, really, for those who might be in emergency health situations this morning, who could be in such areas. But what have you got to add as regards why we keep coming to this same problem? It's not like we just got here. It happens every year.
Yeah, thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to my co-panelists. I think this is really something that now we have to stop talking about attitudes, because we've been talking about it for a longer time. I think there should be some kind of an iron fist in terms of trying to really, the assemblies getting to enforce our laws. I think that will help us a lot.
So the assemblies that fail should be dealt with, and
yes,
those who are
exactly so, because you see, almost all the problems we are talking about today, the rains will fall, just like he said, even in China and a few other places, the rain can. But you see, how many minutes will it recede? That's the question. In Ghana, it can take hours before the rains will recede, because people have built on waterways, because we have choked gutters and so on. That's why I'm saying that now let's focus on the enforcement, rather than saying that people come and throw rubbish, and so they will certainly do it. I heard the Greater Accra, the AMA boss, saying that if you see anyone throwing garbage into the waterways, snap the picture and come for 200 cedis and so on. What is more important now is the enforcement regime, because we have all the laws. We have all the laws. You don't need a Saman today to come and enforce all that. I remember last year when it came like this, and we had some few devastations, the president inaugurated the anti-floods committee, or a task force headed by the deputy chief of staff. And when you read their terms of reference, you'll be shocked. One thing is that they said, one is that they have to do some aerial survey of all flood-prone areas.
Mr. Standogwe told us that.
Yes, that is one. Two is that they have to also collaborate with the 48 engineering regiments to do emergency desilting at places where they're supposed to do it. Then the third one is that they have to make sure that they work with the assemblies, so that they will be able to enforce all these laws. And break all the houses that are on waterways. You ask yourself, for the last 1 year, have you seen the 48 Engineering Regiment in action? No. But I believe that, look at the areas that they are doing the demolition exercises. I spoke to an expert, an engineer, and he told me that even the demolition that is happening by the assemblies in itself caused some problems, because those who demolish it, a lot of them don't even know how to even take the debris off the road. If you have engineers from the 48 Engineering Regiment doing that demolition, they know that if I demolish here, I can move the debris here so that at least the water can get its way. So I believe that what we have to do now to really control these things, because you cannot eradicate it, but at least for us to control it, is for us to enforce our bylaws. The assemblies must be up and doing. The assemblies and even the task force must collaborate with these military people. If you see military people doing the silting around your area, tomorrow you are even afraid to come and do something over there. Again, these storm drains and so on. Look at Odo. In a long time, for like 4 or 5 years, you've not heard that it has even overflown its banks, because a lot of work had been done in terms of clearing the place and so on. Now look at what is happening. I don't live at a place where it's flood prone. I live around Ofanko. But if it's rainfall, just 15-20 minutes, the Ofanko barrier in itself will flood. And we're told that is the filling station, the Shell filling station over there. If it is cleared, at least the water will have safe way and a building over there. But up to now, that is not happening.
So you're saying that the filling station is built on waterways? That's what
the engineers are saying. Over the years, that's what they are saying. I remember around 2022.
One of the factors.
Yes, I remember in 2022, 2023, the MCE there said that they wanted to do some clearing and so on. They cleared some of the places and so on, but it didn't happen. As I speak right now, it will still flood. When I was coming this morning, even though I left home very early, but by the time I got to Achimota, what I saw, I said, this country, we're in for trouble if this rain is to really continue for more than an hour. And as I speak, it's still there.
Ms. Hawa, I'm glad that, you're with the opposition NPP. This is not to politicize it, but you also do understand that this is a problem that has been there for a very long time. What would you say, what you remember, the previous government under 8 years did to improve the situation such that we will not be where we are?
So in Accra, for instance, I mentioned the Odo. We did a major desilting in Odo. Again, when you go to Kaneshi First Light, anytime it rains, you see Kaneshi First Light flooded. We did a very big storm drain over there. And we did a lot of desilting. To the extent that now, Kaneshi First Light, it doesn't flood as it often does. It may be only this one that you see. So we did a lot of desilting in areas that are flood-prone areas. And that's the reason I said, in the last 5-6 years, you will never hear that the Odo has overflown its banks.
But you admit that in terms of sanitation, the report is that things even got worse. We had the Cecilia Dapa launched, sanitation programs and all of that, but we still have heaps of refuse.
It is worse today. You see, the reason it's worse today is that Zoom Lion used to cut these refuse to its recycling plant around the Ajim Kotoku area. The contract has been terminated. Now it is Aboboya that cut all these things. That's the reason you could see the over 300 Aboboya around Wager line up to go and throw these refuse and so on. When you go to Kumasi, it's the same. To the extent that I heard last week that the KMA boss is saying that he's now going to introduce Sama in Kumasi and so on. But you see,
we have a report on that, on the situation in the Ashanti region.
Exactly. So it is about, even in Kumasi now, almost all the major cities, they are not able to control this rubbish because, or the field, because Zoom Lion is no longer cutting it away. So when you terminate that contract, the best thing is that replace it if it's really not doing it in the best interest of this country. Replace it so that at least we'll get someone doing that work. Because this Aboboya, they can even cause cholera and so on. Look at what happened around Weja. Over 300 of them lined up. They wanted to go and throw it into that place. And they said the place had already been flooded at that time. So they couldn't even throw it over there.
Let me acknowledge the presence with us of the Honorable Bernard Bediako, private legal practitioner. He's also the Member of Parliament for Akwetia in the Eastern Region. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my dear.
Per the forecast that we received from the Ghana Meteor Agency, Eastern Region, some areas are also supposed to expect some level of rain. In Koforidia, for instance, you're expecting, of course, rains with thunderstorm, about 40%. In terms of Achimda, you're supposed to have about 40%, also with storm. And then somewhere around Kwewutafu, the same, 40%. Before coming in, what reports did you get from your area and environs as regards the devastation of the rain and potential flooding in the Eastern region? First of all,
once again to your good self, your team, and then my co-panelists, and then our viewers, cherished ones, of course. It's a sad one. It's a sad one. I mean, well, the report I got from Akwetia is that it's very cloudy. I think it's yet to. And so, well, we've not seen what we are seeing in Accra, at least in the meantime in Akwetia. But what I'm seeing in Accra, driving from the house to the studios of TV3, in fact, it's I don't know what can be done, but I think if we have to do something, it is now.
You're in government, you should know what should be done.
And I'm saying that, you see, at some point, we need to come together as a people and then speak with one voice, because there is a problem. I would not do the usual politics Awal has just done.
No, I didn't do politics.
So allow me, please. I heard you. Please, let's have a very civil discussion. I heard you. Let me proceed.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you right now. There is an emergency footage coming in, and I want us to watch that. Malam around Kumchacha. I hope that the people will be saved. Please, we need rescue team from NADMO, from the National Fire Service. Please, whichever, I think these are electrical poles that they are trying to hold on to. Drying lines, okay, drying lines in the house. Please, Malam, if there could be an emergency team going there right now, Malam and the people, Malam Station, we understand Kumchacha area. Please, Ghana National Fire Service, NADMO, if you can hear us, let's hear the people, even as they struggle to get out of the flood waters.
Rescue team, Kumchacha area, behind Malam Station, behind Malcolm. Please, we need a rescue team. Please, we need an assistance for people are dying in their room. The whole place is flooded with water. We are begging. We are begging for an assistance. National Service, Fire Service, please, Kumchacha area, behind the Malam Station, Malcolm. That road, the whole place is flooded. The whole place is flooded. People's houses have been occupied by the rainwater, and it has entered their rooms. People are dying, children are dying. Please come and rescue, okay? Pregnant women are in the room. We are begging. We've climbed to a rooftop. Please, we need rescue team. We are begging.
You can hear her. I mean, even in this footage, you can see there are children involved trying to get out of the muddy flood waters, as you can see. And you heard her talking about the fact that there are even pregnant women involved. And this video was sent to us by Veronica Zomelo. Please, Ghana National Fire Service, NADMO, this is happening at Malam, around the Kumchacha area. Please, behind the Melcom shopping mall, Kumchacha, Malam, behind the Melcom shopping mall. You've already seen these visuals we're showing you right now. Children struggling to get out of the flood, the muddy flood waters. just holding on really lightly to life. And these are children, as you can see. We may not know whether they can swim or not. The dangers involved. Ghana National Fire Service, if you can see this, or if you're watching and you have access immediately to contact the Ghana National Fire Service in your area, please let them know immediately to move to this area. Nadmo as well, if you're in this area. Malam, Kum, Chacha, behind the Melcom Shopping Mall. Please make your way to this area. Children involved, pregnant women, we understand, involved, as you heard the woman say. And like I said, Veronica Zumelo sent us this video. Keep sending us your videos and let's see what's happening in your area, so that in these emergency situations we can get the Ghana National Fire Service as well as NADMO to come to your rescue. Very shortly, we will be displaying the emergency numbers you can call in case you have no idea which numbers to call, just so you're able to get through with your calls to save a life this morning. And per the forecast, this is going to be happening even for 18 hours based on what the Ghana Meteor Agency told us earlier. So this is an emergency situation. Once again, I'm calling the Ghana National Fire Service, NADMO, and any other agency responsible for this to go to this very area, Malam, Kum, Chacha vicinity, just so you can save the children and the pregnant women. And of course, any other person who may find themselves in this situation. So these are the emergency numbers you can see on your screens right now. And 0299 340 383. 0299 340 383. In case you're listening to us because you're driving and perhaps you are listening on your phone through your social media, 0299 340 383. 0299 340 643. 0299 340 643. 0299 340 998. 0299 340 998. 0291 713 235. And also active landlines, in case you can reach the landline quickly, 0302 772 446. 0302 772 446. 0302 959 561. 0302 959 561. 0302 779 637. Perhaps we can leave it on the screen just a little bit whilst I let the Honorable Bernard Bediakon continue with his submission for us. The numbers will still be displayed on your screen for some minutes, just so if you want to write it down, you will have the opportunity to do so and contact the needed emergency team members who would come to your rescue or the rescue of anybody you know is in an emergency situation right now. The Honorable Bernard Bediakon.
See, so it's still raining out there. We do not know how serious this can get beyond what we are even seeing. So when we come here at this point, especially as we all drove through town and saw what the situation actually is, we have to live above politics, at least for this minute, and be very sympathetic towards the plight of the people who are suffering. Look, I came from Ashoman Estate. Through Dome, the whole place is flooded. Everywhere. Look, and I do not even know how bad it can get beyond what I even saw, because it's still raining. And so this is not the time for, look, because if you want us to go there, maybe just a reminder. You are talking about enforcement, and that is not about attitude. People will continue to throw whatever. When I say your president in context, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he went to meet with the Canadian community, what did he tell them as president? Let's not go there. Let's stop this. He said that he cannot continue using Ghana's money to solve the problems of the attitude of Ghanaians. That's what he told the Canadian. And that the problem is attitude now. Were you in this country? That is what His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said. He said we should change our attitude. And that he cannot continue using Ghana's money to solve this sanitation problem that causes flood. And that we should change our attitude. Today, that is something else for you. You've been told that in the 8 years, tell us what you did to solve the situation. You are talking of what? What did you do at First Light? 8 years.
The Honorable Bediako, so let's talk about almost 2 years of the Mahama administration as well. We saw the president launch the anti-flood task force, and we don't seem to have had much from the team, to an extent that it was just a couple of months ago that we heard the president, as it were, ask them again, direct them to go do the work. So what progress report can you tell us as regards what has been done alone by the anti-flood task force?
At least I know they've done some work at the Ramsey site. A lot has been demolished. You see, for me, that is the way to go. Look, if we are not able to take the bull by the horn and still keep talking, there is nothing we can do to solve this problem. For me, because we have to take very hard decisions.
Like?
Demolitions. In fact, that is the way to go. Demolitions.
Prosecutions.
Of course, prosecutions will follow. I agree with you. I largely agree with you. And we have to be very hard at it without considering any, whatever it is that may try to bring this very agenda down.
But before demolitions, weren't we dealing with the assemblies that are allowing the buildings?
No, but the assemblies will lead the demolitions. You see, and that is why I don't personally even believe that it has to take a central government to put up anything. We have enough laws, and I agree with him when he says that you want.
I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you again. I'm sorry, I keep. There's a fire outbreak right now at Ordona rubber factory market. We understand is currently burning. That's what we're showing you on your screens right now. So that alone is the second fire, because when we had Alex Nate, he told us about Sakaman. So this is breaking news coming in right now from the Ordona area. Rubber factory currently burning. Please, around the Holy Hill Assemblies of God Church, the GBC Tower area. So if you're in this area, please make yourself, just get out of the area just for safety's sake. We understand around Vienna City, we understand that the Ghana National Fire Service is currently trying to address the situation, either on its way to the place or currently there trying to deal with it. But we're showing you visuals right now. This is happening at Ordona. We understand the fire service has already deployed 4 fire tenders to the area just to try, and rubber is very inflammable. So that's what is happening. This is amidst the flooding. I'm looking at it, and it looks like the whole place is surrounded by flood already. I hope that the tenders can make their way to this very spot of the fire so they can quench it, save lives and property. But this is a rubber factory, already very highly combustible, burning in the Ordona area. And like I did say, right now, this is the second fire at least we are hearing of, because early in the morning or early in the day, we had Alex Kingnate giving us an update of a one-story at Sakaman, which also got involved in fire. They were there and were able to douse the flame. So this is the second fire we're reporting of just within the last hour alone. One at Sakaman, one-story building. They were able to douse the flame, and this is currently happening at a rubber factory at Ordona. So please, if you're heading towards that area, or you are within that area watching us or listening to us, take precaution because of what is happening at the Ordona area. I think I should let you land on your thoughts, the Honorable Bediako.
Well, is there much to say? At the moment, I think that we should be doing more education, at least to save lives and property, like you started doing. That is what we need now. The politicians can discuss whatever. We need to protect, for now, we need to protect the citizens from such dangers. And I think that we should emphasize on the measures they have to take. At the moment, if you are, wherever you find yourself, especially in the flood prone areas, move out of your house. I think that is the way to go. Because if you are not careful and you are caught inside, there are other, dangerous things that can even happen beyond just the flood. And so it's better we move out to places where we can at least save our lives for now. Because what is happening, look, I'm not too sure where you came from. But what I've seen out there, I am not too sure whether we are safe. Especially the area I came from.
I came from the Melcombe area, but I still saw the flooding within the trade fair. It was completely
everywhere. Bridges submerged, and that's the danger. So if a bridge is submerged, you don't even know where to pass. But
Okay, so I've seen some of you sending us your comment. You're requesting that we do some of the announcements in Tree, and so when they come in, I'll try and do that for you. In Tisawa Circle or Donna area, Cecia rubber factory be eshe, Ewo Circle or Donna area. Already, ye Hussein in Suno, Afofo gutters, and in Yamanema, in Tisawa area now. Just be careful, not share uhusuye. Ya tise fire service for omo de cars in so bet media dum jano. Edi akoho 4. Into say area where just be careful and take care of yourself. Na say what numbers in so afre obi so where na find a way to save the person. Enti weye asema ekoso ewo Odona Circle area rubber factory currently on fire, and already anopawe information Ghana Meteo edemayen HSA Accra, there's going to be a lot of rain, 60% rain. In Tisawo area already flood prone. So that's just a windscreen. Of course, that's your Odona overflowing its banks right now. The Odo, yes,
the rubber factory.
Yes, the rubber factory is still within the Odo area. So it's the reason I was saying, hopefully, where it is located, the flood waters have not blocked the way, just so the fire tenders will be able to get to site. Because if they're not able to get there, then it might spread because of the nature of the materials involved in this fire are currently raging. And so hopefully they're able to find their way to deal with the problem. But the Honorable Ms. Awal Mohammed, you were talking earlier about the assemblies and how you think they must come in to ensure that, yes, we say that it's attitude problem, but that's why we have laws and bylaws and regulations, because people will still, as it were, flout them. People would misbehave. How do we get the assemblies to be up and doing, just so we don't get to have these reports over and again?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that we have all the laws that we need to enforce. If we are to enforce the laws, do you know that if you want to even connect electricity to your house, you have to produce the building permit before even ECG gives you the meter? It is just to control these things. So the assemblies might not even know when someone is even building. Now what I know is that they come and write stop work, produce permit, and so on. I'm told the contractors even do that. They start building, they will write stop work, produce permit, then you know that they are not working before you realize the building is on.
I will let you continue, but there's somebody asking the Electricity Company of Ghana to put out the lights in the worst affected areas.
Yes.
So ECG, if you're watching us, the request is that, I don't know where these people are commenting from, whether they are in these areas, but they are concerned because of the level of the flood waters. It could cause another level of problem. Already, Alex Kinate told us that the Sakaman fire was sparked by an electrical issue.
Yes.
And so the request is that, I don't know whether it's coming from people living in such areas like Malam, the Sakaman, of course, Odona, and these other Achimota area, all these places that are having the flood issues. The request is that you put out the light at least until the water recedes, so we don't get to have another problem on our hands. And so if you're watching us this morning, Electricity Company of Ghana, this is a request coming in. I don't know where these people are currently living, but they are asking just so we're able to save a bit more life. I mean, more lives and property. But you were on the floor.
Yes, so I'm saying that the enforcement regime is what we have to really put our minds to, so that at least the people are saying that they will still not change their attitudes. So what you do is that you have the laws and you have to enforce it. To be very honest, devoid of politics. Last year when the president told them that collaborate with the 48th Engineering Regiment so that you'll be able to clear the waste and so on, I was happy because you see, in areas where the assemblies will be able to enforce, you go there and it's your constituency chairman's house or organizer. How do you do it? As maybe some even served with you as constituency executives. Today they are MCs and so on.
But won't that be more of a cultural problem than attitudinal? Because your culture expects you to respect such people.
Yes, when I heard that the military will come to these flood-prone areas, I was happy because they will not look at anyone with any political lens. They will just come and clear the area. Because there are areas in this country, especially in Accra, when you're able to clear the way, at least even if it rains like this, it will recede and it will get to where its destination. That's why I'm saying that the enforcement regime, together with the engineers who are technical people, who are military people, when they come in, they will be able to clear the way. Look at when the AMA and even the regional minister went to places and they were demolishing the places. The people came out and some had even altercations with them. Some had to even fight them that don't destroy it and so on. But if you have security guys standing there and so on, the person is even afraid. And when you see it's the security man who is doing that work, it will help us. We need to get people who understand these things, because the demolition is not enough. How you are able to move the debris so that the water will get way to recede, that's more important than anything. So I believe that this is what we have to do, and it will help us control these things.
Let me remind you that earlier we brought you the visuals of what's happening in Malam Kum Chacha. We're still showing you those visuals right now. And so Ghana National Fire Service, I hope you have been able to set your men, including NADMO, to go to this area to rescue the children, as you can see in the video, trying to make their way out of the flood waters to higher grounds, really. And hopefully you're able to do that, as well as the Ghana National Fire Service, the Odona fire at the rubber factory. Hopefully you're able to get to those places, save lives and property. But a number of you have sent in your messages. I've received a video from Theo Annan, who is a police officer at Awoshi. I'm sending it to the back end just so we can show you that video. It's coming from Theo Annan, is a police officer there, bringing us video regarding what's happening in Awoshi. But also giving us some updates. It says a friend shared the following while listening, and it says some information picked as follows. Weja Kaswa Road is completely blocked. N1 is literally submerged. Fiesta Royal is flooded. I think earlier we brought you the videos from the Fiesta Royal area in Jowolu. So let me repeat. Weja Kaswa Road is completely blocked. And this is coming from Theo Annan, who is a police officer. N1 is literally submerged. Fiesta Royal is flooded. Ghana Standards Authority to Shiashi is blocked with only one lane accessible. And I know that the Shiashi area, even when it doesn't rain heavily, the whole place gets completely flooded. So with this rain, I can imagine what's happening there. If you're there, you can send us a video of how it looks like around the Shiashi area. But what we are understanding is that from the Ghana Standards Authority to the Shiashi area is blocked with only one lane accessible. Atomic Roundabout is flooded and blocked. So that's information coming in. Legon Gempa Bypass Road is also blocked around the new law school building. Alajo is flooded. Alajo, we already know that it's every year we see that happening. And so if you're in these areas, let me just repeat one more time. Weja Kaswa Road is completely blocked. N1 is literally submerged. And also, Fiesta Royale is flooded. We showed you visuals earlier within the Jawulu vicinity. Ghana Standards Authority to Shiashi is blocked with only one lane accessible. Atomic Roundabout is flooded and blocked. Legon Gimpa Bypass Road is also blocked around the new law school building. Alajo, as you know already, is already a flood-prone area, completely submerged as well and flooded. And so
it means if you are home and you are safe, don't just
come out.
If you are
Christian
safe.
Village.
If your place is getting
Christian Village. That is what the bridge we understand. Christian Village, the bridge we understand is completely overflown there. And so please, if you are within Christian Village, the bridge is blocked. If you're home, please don't come out. Christian Village, I believe Christian Village is around Achimota area, right? Yes. So if you're around Christian Village, the Achimota area, the bridge is gone. Dom, Kwabenya, all those places. Please, if you're home and safe, don't step out. That's around the Christian Village. If you're in an emergency situation, whether as a result of the floods or medical situation, please. We displayed some numbers earlier. Can we display them? Okay, it's currently there right now. 0299. Just look beneath the fire outbreak at Odona Rubber. As you can see, boldly written just under it are these numbers that you need if you need to get in touch with the Ghana National Fire Service. 029, just to help those who are unable to read because the numbers may be small for you. 0299 340383. We are also understanding that Kaneshi is completely gone. So please, the market area, the bar stops, completely gone. So if you live in these areas and you're yet to step out, please remain in your homes if you are safe where you are. If you're not safe where you are, move to higher grounds if there are higher grounds available where you currently are. And so, yes, the numbers are still on your screens. And we understand Teshi around Manette. That's what you're seeing on your screens right now. Teshi, Manette area also submerged in the rainwaters. So these are visuals from Manette, Teshi area. So please, if you live in these areas, be very careful. And if you're safe where you are, do not move out. So this is the Teshi Manette area, also affected badly by the rains and, of course, the flood. So if you're safe where you are, we keep saying, remain indoors. So look at the car moving. That should tell you the level of the water or the flood on the road.
Even when I was coming, we all went through Achimota.
Yes.
That was how I came.
Yes.
That was Elio.
Yes.
Around 6
in the morning, I experienced the same thing when I was coming. Yes.
It's a bad day to use a saloon car.
Yes. So 0299340383. Just in case the numbers are too small for you to read, I'm helping you out. You can write them down just so you can call the Ghana National Fire Service in any emergency situation you find yourself in. 0299340383 and 0302772446. We have displayed the numbers again fully on your screens just so you're able to make these calls to save a life, save lives and property this morning. And let me remind you that wherever you find yourself, ensure that you're safe, because this forecast we had early today from the Ghana Meteo Agency is for the next 18 hours, starting from 6 a.m. And so be mindful of this and be sure that you find yourself in a safe place wherever you are in Accra and the areas that are expected to receive more rains. Let's show you. So this is Kaneshi. That's the Kaneshi market I see. The yellow-white story building over there. And it looks like they were taken quite early today because it was still a bit dark. But since it's still raining, I suppose it might be like this or even worse.
It will be worse
at this time of the day. So if you're within the Kaneshi area, we are already alerting you that you must be careful and mindful as regards
I think
stepping out.
we should also use the opportunity to appeal to various officers who may be expecting people to come to work at a particular time. Because of what has happened, we should all bear, and then maybe several other places like the courts. I was even billed to be the court, I mean, you know, before 9. But as it is now, my client, as I spoke to him, he's swimming in there.
Yeah.
You expect him to be. So let us all bear with the situation that people may not be able to turn up as they should, at least in the meantime. So we are pleading with employers to also bear with their employees, given the situation we find ourselves.
And speaking of those swimming in the water, there's a message coming from Kalio Man from Wa in the Upper West region. It says, Beatrice, some of the people in their current situation can't even watch your show, let alone to take advice from your guests.
But that's true.
Already they are swimming. Please, is it the Navy that should be rescuing persons from the flood or Ghana National Fire Service?
Yeah, I think that by now they should actually deploy.
Yes, I think at this time it should be all hands on deck kind of effort to ensure that we save life and property. Indeed. And this is coming from Prince Henry Koforidia. Okay, so we're trying to stay away from the politics so that we're able to deal with the problems as we should. This is coming, okay, this person says he's currently watching from Nairobi, Kenya, and says the officers of the assemblies are part of the problem and the armchair MMDCs are all part. We can solve this challenge when we change our attitude and also allow the law to work without political interference. You're watching us from Nairobi, Kenya. And yes, a number of you sending us your messages, but we've already told you that if you're in an area where the situation is that bad, please let us know and let us get in touch with officials who are in positions to help rescue lives and also save property. But I'm coming back to you, Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin. Look at the devastation already happening. What would you add to the statement already made by the other panel members as regards what we need to do, immediate to medium to long-term plans that we need to really start thinking seriously about to help deal with this problem in the long term?
So, for me, this particular situation that we are facing, in fact, I was cross-checking with what is happening in Kumasi and Cape Coast. I hear Cape Coast is safe. Information that I'm gathering from Kumasi also indicate that there are some pockets of floods.
In Kumasi?
In Kumasi.
This morning?
This morning.
Because earlier when we spoke to our correspondent, Ibrahim Abubakar, he said it hadn't started raining yet where he was.
I actually was having a discussion with Malam Yaya, Kesben FM.
Okay.
And he said that the situation in Kumasi is better than, what we are seeing in Accra.
It has always been better because
the Accra situation has always been bad.
Yes. And you see, I think that for now, the military, Ghana Navy, should all be deployed. I remember June 3rd, 2015, when I spent close to about 8 hours in traffic, on the N1. It was so daring. Had it not been the intervention of the military, I don't know what would have happened that day. And it was a similar situation we are recording in Malam this morning. When people...
This is Klagon, around the Ashaiman area. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Doc. And these are the visuals you're getting from Klagon. And Klagon in the last few years has seen massive development in terms of estates and all these buildings that are coming up. And this is really what we're seeing now is close to Ashaiman. And yes, so these are the videos from Klagon. So if the situation, I mean, this is bad. If you're in a place where you need to be rescued, please, we are still showing the numbers on your screen. Call in the necessary officials and let them, okay, we can actually see the gentleman carrying another person. And already the water is up to almost his waist level. And yes, him carrying, so these are amateur, I mean, this is an amateur video, but at least it's showing us the impact of the rain and the floods in this part of the country. And see the whole place covered. How do you know where to pass as you're walking through trying to save your life and other lives as well? So please, if you live in the Klagon area, this is what we're showing you, and you can call in these numbers just so you're able to save people in your community. Keep sending us the videos. Let us know what's happening in your area, and we'll help relay the information to the relevant authorities so they can send in men to help rescue you. Let's speak now. Doc, I'll come to you very shortly, but we need to talk to Mr. Richard Amuyate, who is the Director of Inspectorate Division at the National Disaster Management Organization. Mr. Yate, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you and all of you. All that most times go on the phone, I speak to you now. But we've been on the foot throughout the night with our collaborating agencies, Ghana Armed Forces, Police, Fire, and National Blood Service. We've been out there throughout the night protecting lives. So we thank you them all.
So please tell us where you currently are, what the situation there is like, and what you have gathered as NADMO from across the country.
Across, we have flooding in Greater Bawi area, Malam Junction, Odona, Taifa, Tema, Dowinian, Australia, America, across the Greater Accra metropolitan area. So we have teams deployed across all these areas responding to distress calls.
You said Tema. Which part of Tema is also in an emergency situation?
I cannot give you the exact location. Yeah, but part of Tema is flooded. When I say Tema, I'm talking about the Tema West Municipal Assembly and then the Tema metropolitan area.
You're telling us that you're receiving distress calls. Tell us the kind of calls and the situations people have found themselves in at this moment.
People are calling and then saying that they are trapped in their homes. But we are listening to their situation, and then some we are advising, others we are sending teams to go and attempt rescue. Because some of the situations, when they report, you realize that they are safe staying inside. But for example, your house is a story building and the ground floor is flooded. All you do is you have to move up and then stay safe rather than venture out of the house. So this is what we are doing. In fact, we've been doing this throughout the night.
And have you received any, I hope you haven't received any call of casualties involved in the last hours?
So far, we don't have any reports of any casualties.
Aside from advising people to move to higher grounds, like if you're on the ground floor, you move to the floors above you, what else is NADMO doing immediately to address the situation?
Immediately, coordinating a search and rescue. We are responding to all distress calls that are coming in. All distress calls that are coming in, we are responding to them.
Okay, for those who have to be moved, how is NADMO? I know you talked about collaborating with the armed forces, among others. What can you tell us about how that is going?
Yeah, once we locate somebody who is trapped, we rescue the person, and the person is taken to the nearest safe haven. That is the nearest safe place. Yes.
Okay, so I will let you continue, but let me just tell our viewers what they're seeing on their screens right now. Shangri-La area. So Shangri-La is if you're coming from the University of Ghana, Legon. That's after Shiashi, coming up to the airport area before eventually 37 and then Kanda and the rest. So those are the visuals, or this is the visual we're showing you from the Shangri-La area. So it's still on the 37 Shashi Road. But Mr. Yate, before you take leave of us, what will you tell people at this moment, aside from those your men have personally spoken to?
We are advising people not to be crossing the flood waters. Especially people who are driving through flood waters. We are advising people to stay safe. If you are in your house, don't venture into the flood water outside. Don't drive across flood water, especially when it's crossing the road. Because all the drains are coming and you will not know where the drain is. So please stay safe wherever you are. And then when you are in distress, call emergency hotline 112 and then the team should be activated to support you.
All right, we'll have to end it here for now, and hopefully we're able to come back to you for an update. But you just watched and heard right there Mr. Richard Amoyate. He's the director of the Inspectorate Division at the National Disaster Management Organization. But if you need to get in touch with NADMO this morning, because of where you find yourself, these are the numbers that you can call. That's a toll-free number, 112. That's an emergency number to NADMO, 112. You can call and you will get an official speaking to you. Make sure that you're in a safe place as you call. He's already advised that don't move to places that could compromise your safety. So if you're safe where you are, please remain there, but you know your environment is in danger, you can still call these numbers. Toll-free line 112, but again, you can also call 0302 964884. I just hope that the networks are working and very efficient for people to be able to make their emergency calls to save their lives and that of their loved ones. 0299 350 699. 0299 350 699. These numbers are to NADMO. 0299 350 Please call these numbers. 0299 350 0299 350244. Please, if you find yourself in any part of the country needing emergency assistance, these are the numbers to NADMO. Call them. The toll-free line is 112. Call and you'll be able to get the needed assistance this morning. Please, let's keep this number on the screen for some time as people try to either write them down or dial directly just so they're able to get the help they need this morning. But Dr. Tutubuahin, you're on the floor before we had to go take the emergency situations that we brought our viewers this morning. Please, I want you to continue with your thoughts.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think that based on the experiences of June 3rd, 2015, the military and all the people with expertise, should be deployed immediately, to help. Because I hear that the Ghana Fire Service is already overwhelmed, and so they will need more hands. But I think with the medium to long-term measures, we, as a country, I think that earlier on we were talking about, or we were asking about the authority of the assemblies, right? And one other institution that we seem to also might have forgotten has to do with the country planning.
Town and country planning.
Town and country planning. They also have probably played a role, and I think that a collaboration between town and country planning and the various assemblies, especially in our urban cities.
But they are there, they are in the assemblies.
Yes, and I hear they have, but probably the collaborations are not working that well. So probably they need to team up strongly. You see, that's why earlier when I was talking about people's hands being tied and certain authority that they may want to, exercise.
But for how long do we have to have their hands tied when we
Yes,
need to
so-
respond to
Yes.
saving lives and property?
So, Beatrice, you see, the issue is this. If we don't live as a community and probably seek the general good, seek the welfare and interest of the community, and then we limit ourselves to, these modern trends where people are so much interested in their individual well-being. These are some of the things that will happen, right? Because that person who is supposed to be going to check that a building is being put up in a Ramsey site, a building is being put up on a storm drain. In fact, I was shocked to have heard that in some part of Accra, people deliberately cover gutters with sand, concrete, just to extend their buildings. You understand? Some of them will put kiosks on it. And why should this be? And I think that these are all because people are becoming too selfish, self-seeking, and they don't think of what will happen, to others. I mean, on the other time when Accra was flooded, on my way from Winneba, I had to go through the Weja Dam. And Beatrice, I stood there for close to 40 minutes, not in traffic. I was just observing, right? And I was shocked that at the bank of the Weja Dam, somebody was building. The person has laid, foundation, and was building on it. And I hear that that person only stopped building on Monday, when he realized that the water coming was so much that he has to leave.
As in last Monday?
No, I think about 2-3 weeks ago. And that was bad. You see, when I was approaching the dam and seeing from the hills the number of buildings that have been submerged in water, I was like, why would people risk their own lives? You're going to buy a land, and we are going to buy it around a place like the Weja Dam, and we are not even thinking twice. All right? People have become so daring that, look, it appears that they don't really care about what will actually happen to them. And so they cross water bodies, here and there. And I believe that probably government may want to go to parliament to probably put a ban on building on certain areas.
But it's there.
I know, but probably it should be enforced. You see, the way things are going, if you don't take certain steps, hard steps, all right, probably things will go bad. You see, the reason why I'm saying that ban is that probably it will also enforce certain rules, certain existing rules, where individuals who commit such, I wouldn't say, I will refer to it as atrocity. Okay. Such people would be prosecuted. Look, earlier on we were talking about demolishing buildings and then collecting the debris. Fine. But what happens to the people who have done that? The other time, look, I was surprised to have heard somebody say that he was a financier of a particular political party. And so his building should not be touched.
Yeah, that parliamentary candidate. He was a former parliamentary candidate aspirant.
And I didn't
get the Ramsey site.
Yes, I didn't get that explanation. All right. So for the fact that you are a financier of a particular political party, so you are untouchable. You should be doing the wrong things and expect to be going scot-free. All right. So look, it is not enough to pull these structures down. But I think that combining it with prosecutions would help. Why are people not even scared filling stations on storm drains?
There's a message coming in, a number of you sending in your messages, both on YouTube and Facebook. Let me read the ones from YouTube for now. It says Daniel Avege, hope I got your name correctly, says the government should investigate all former MMDCs and assembly members in the Greater Accra, Central and Ashanti regions who sold out lands for people to build on them, and they should be arrested. Kojo Splendid says systemic failure, impunity, lawlessness and lack of education can't be excluded from this. Daniel Kra says the problem of the matter in Ghana is when the problem is at hand. That is when you see our leaders talking about it. When everything is gone, then they all go to sleep. This is coming from Emmanuel, and he says, if we are in a country where sanitation minister can hide big chunk of monies, okay, and talking about the Cecilia Dapa issue, and Dan Men says they must begin to enforce the bylaws, and we should also get the fire service working, and we should have structures in waterways demolished. And a number of you are also talking about the need to enforce our laws. But the Honorable Bediako, there's a point that he made, which was a question I was going to ask you. One of them made a question I was going to ask you earlier about why we keep talking when the problem is at hand. Right now, everybody is saying that we should take emergency measures and all of that. What is the guarantee that after this rainy season is over, we're going to be biting and hard enough to dealing with, as regards dealing with the problem?
You see, you're right. And I think this is also a daily program that discusses issues that come up in the morning. We even had different, topics. But faced with this, of course, you have to share those topics and discuss such a. Tomorrow, if there is something else, surely we may have to. But I think that it is not just about discussing it.
So we are showing you visuals from, sorry to interrupt, visuals from Kaneshi. You can see that people have already queued up. They are still making effort to go to wherever, whether to work or to school, and they are in the rain.
Because of the fear. If you don't go,
you'll be dealt with.
But I've seen a communication that the Interior Minister is saying that people should stay home if they are really, I saw it on Joy News right now, that people should stay home if they are not safe, so that at
I think it's
for the
the right thing to do.
I'm told the Interior Minister.
Okay, so these are visuals from Kaneshi. If you're within the Kaneshi area, please be safe.
Look, it is not just bylaws. We have statutes, laws that have been promulgated by the Parliament of the Republic. See, do you even know that when you build, even your compound, you are not supposed to tile the entire place. There is a portion you are not supposed to. It's in the statute. We have over 200 regulations in that statute with respect to building and all that.
And the enforcement.
It is all about enforcement. And I think that there are officers who are charged with the responsibility of enforcing the law. We will talk and talk and talk and talk if at the end of the day the law is not enforced. Because of course, every human being is selfish. We always want the easier ways of doing things. But the reason you cannot do it elsewhere, especially when you go outside, to the West and all that, is because their laws work. You dare not. So we have to at this point, and I think one of our major problems as a people is enforcement of laws. The cultures you refer to, of he is this with me, he is that with me, I'm related this way, or I have this relationship with the person and all that. I think that's an issue. And I call on the MMDCs. Look, here we are. If your place is getting flooded, you have to ask yourself questions.
You have to ask yourself questions. I want to bring the statement from the, I will let you finish. I want to bring the statement from the Interior Ministry, signed by the Minister, and hopefully we should be displaying that on our screens very shortly. But this is on the website of the Interior Ministry, signed and issued and signed by the Honorable Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, Minister for the Interior. It says the Ministry of the Interior advises the general public to exercise extreme caution following the heavy rains and flooding experienced in several parts of the country this morning. As a precautionary public safety measure, members of the public are advised to remain where they are until conditions improve. It says those who are safely at home are urged to stay at home, while those who are at their workplaces or other safe locations should remain there until it is safe to travel. Unnecessary movement should be avoided. And this is the Mahama Road. Let me just tell you before I continue reading that statement coming from the Interior Minister, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. So that's the Mahama Road area and the flooding situation, as you can see.
Shadow.
Yes, so that must be around the Chado and the environs around that place. And the Ministry for the Interior statement continues to say that motorists and pedestrians are strongly advised not to attempt to drive or walk through flooded roads. I think one of you made that statement. Bridges or waterways, as flood waters can rise rapidly and pose significant danger to life and property. And it says the Ghana Police Service, I think we're asking about all hands on deck, the need for all institutions to come in. So the statement is saying that the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and other emergency response services have been deployed to monitor the situation, assist affected persons, manage traffic, and undertake rescue operations where required. Residents in flood-prone communities are advised to move to higher ground where it is safe to do so and promptly report emergencies or persons in distress to the nearest security agency or emergency response service. The ministry urges the public to remain calm, cooperate with the directives of security and emergency personnel, and rely only on official channels for information and updates. It's necessary that the statement emphasizes on relying only on official channels for information, because criminal groups could also take advantage of this and abuse people. It said members of the public in need of emergency assistance or wishing to report persons in distress are encouraged to contact emergency service numbers. And hopefully we're able to display those numbers as have been written on this statement on the Interior, from the Interior Ministry on your screens very shortly. And it says the safety and well-being of the public remain the government's highest priority. The ministry will continue to monitor the situation closely and provide and the numbers will be displayed on your screens very shortly. But of course, it gives the first one as the number to the Ghana Police Service, 18555, 18555 or 112, 18555 or 112. And we showed you the 112 earlier. And we'll be displaying more numbers just so if you find yourself or you know your loved one is in an emergency situation, you can assist the person. The Honorable Bediako.
So, because I'm saying that MMDCs should ask themselves questions, because you cannot have an excuse. Look, if it is a former appointee that did something that is wrong, you are in charge now. You know what to do. If it is a current officer that has done anything wrong with respect to issuing permits, and those who, most of them do not even have genuine permits. Mm-hmm. So are you allowing, look, those days, the Nkrumah era where they used to say that if you've built beyond lintel, you cannot demolish, is no longer law in this country. Mm-hmm. It's no longer law. So this issue, I'm not too sure the excuses we are giving to ourselves. Let us take the bull by the horn. Let us demolish where necessary. Let us prosecute where necessary and prevent people from even building in the first place or doing all kinds of things. Look, as I was coming around the Domain Antimary stretch, because I had to do some rerouting. You get here, the place is flooded, go there. So I don't usually use that route. But I saw a place that had been filled up. Apparently, they are trying to put a filling station there. And the whole place is flooded. Look, you can't even see anything there. I just looked at it and said, so this is there. So please, you see, we don't have any reason. We see it. These are not people who do these things behind the scenes. They don't hide in doing them.
Ghana, my motherland, says, can the Minister of the Interior declare a state of emergency within Accra or a holiday because people are still forcing to go to work because of their bosses? So that's Ghana, my motherland. Yes, I've already read that message coming from the Interior Ministry asking you to stay home because of the situation. It says the Kweshi Lagoon behind the trade fair used to hold some of the rainwater and slowly drained it into the sea over the period of time. What's the current situation? So recently on Agenda here on TV3, I was there at the Kweshi Lagoon that this gentleman, Ed Black, is talking about. And they have actually filled almost the estuary and still doing serious developments in that area. If we still have the video in the system, we can show right now, but within the community, you could see actually when I went there, I went through, it's an entire community with clubs, with clinics, gym and everything, and there were constructions that were less than 50 meters from the seashore within that community. That's the Kweshi Lagoon. And per the information I gathered, apparently there's a fight between the Ladadekotopon and I think the Lejokuku area as regards which of the assemblies is responsible for that area. And because of that, people have taken advantage of it and there's impunity exactly. And I'm telling you that I went close to the estuary. It is almost being filled. Can you imagine? And that is being done. So that's what's happening in the Kweshi Lagoon area. And right now, I understand the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council is currently trying to deal with this situation because the assemblies are, as it were, fighting over the jurisdiction of the area, and so nobody is doing anything about it. But that's for Ed Black. You asked that question about what's happening with the Kweshi Lagoon. Please, let me finally allow you to land on your thoughts, and I'll come to you.
So for me, yes. It doesn't even have to take the Regional Coordinating Council, neither the Flagstaff House. Look, you are a DCMC. The laws are there. You have the officers. The spatial officers, planning officers, the what do you call it? The engineers, as you have the coordinating director, and the people are there. The police under your, jurisdiction is there. The NADMO, everybody is within your catchment area. Please, we need to move. We can't continue having this. Because, of course, you can't do anything about the rains. You don't determine where it should rain and how long it should. That you can't do anything about. What you can do is the man-made problems we have created for ourselves that is making this, once it's raining, of course, you can also be sure too much is not good. But if it rains more, we can at least be expecting some bumper harvest and all that. But in this case, we are afraid of rains. It shouldn't even rain because if it does, previously, you used to hear once it rains, people who sleep on the streets will not get a place to sleep and all that. This is what we were afraid of. At this point, we've gone beyond where people will sleep. And even those of us in our rooms, the rain is chasing us. This is how far we have come. We can't continue failing the people of Ghana this way. Look, as we find ourselves here, per what I hear, places we even drove from and got here. You can't go back again. I don't know whether you house us here today.
Yeah. Frank, Ajono says people have built anyhow in Accra with...
Number one problem is engineering, especially within Accra. And secondly, they propose that we do harvesting of this water, that we can harvest it and still later, if we are to really spill it over, we can do that later. Just like you said, the estuary over there. You can just harvest it so that you can do that. So I believe that, you see, everything will still come back to central government. whether you're doing politics or you don't do politics, everything will still come back to central government. The Ghana Institute of Engineers are providing some solutions. I believe that the Works and Housing Minister can sit down with them, because now there's no sanitation ministry, it's all embedded in the Works and Housing. He can sit down with them and let's look at the solutions going forward. Today, we're at crisis, and the most important thing
I think sanitation is local government now.
It's now with local government. So it's collaboration, because the Works and Housing, local government, and other institutions can come together so that we will find.
I said we thank the lady.
It is pure local problems.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I mean, local problem is understandable. We know that the engineering issues, and in fact, I listened to that man, and one other thing that he added was the construction of the brick, road. Okay, where
you say you listen to them asking Richard Kumado?
No,
okay.
The Ghana Institution of Engineers.
Yes, engineers. That day, I think that he made certain statements, regarding the brick issues and how water from there is now just moving straight to Accra. Okay,
it's been so since.
Yes, but you see, the point is this: there are laws. I appreciate it at the local levels. I feel that the authorities of the MMCs have been taken away. In fact, because certain instructions were coming.
No.
Oh no.
That's untenable.
Yes. It is untenable based on, the discussion we are having. But the reality should be separated from, what is on paper. All right. And this is where it becomes very important. You mentioned that everything now comes back to central government, which I agree. Because look, if I am the president and I'm issuing out an order, all right, to all MMCs, do this per the law and make sure that nothing stands in your way. Do you think that they wouldn't act? They will. If the person fails to act and then you identify that this person has not done what